Hey everyone, today's video will be quite different from all the others. Today, I'll be discussing a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff related to this YouTube channel. It's very much a 5,000 subscriber special episode that will help you learn a little more about how this whole thing came into existence, what I've learned so far, and where I hope to take things as we move towards 10,000 subs. So you won't be learning much about Lithuania today, but you will be learning a lot more about Lithuania Explained. So if that's okay with you, let's get started. So I wanted to begin by discussing why I started this channel in the first place. I'll tell you now that one of my other jobs is video editing for another YouTube channel. And even though I'm a completely self-taught video editor, someone took a chance on me a few years ago and hired me to edit videos for their channel. This allowed me to learn what content creation was like and find out everything necessary to grow a channel. So far, with this other brand, I've probably made over 700 videos, 4 of which have over 1 million views each. So with all of this experience, I started Lithuania Explained as a way to help foreigners like me learn about life in Lithuania. After all, there aren't too many English-speaking channels out there dedicated to covering the country. You might get travel vloggers passing through, but off the top of my head, I can only think of 3 YouTube channels that post regular, detailed content to teach foreigners about Lithuania. But these channels have their own specialities, and in most cases are nothing like Lithuania Explained. I could lie and say that this is a purely philanthropic endeavor, but in reality, the goal right from the beginning has been to generate revenue. While I would love to do this on a purely voluntary basis, I hope you can see that it takes a ton of work to make each video. I think earning revenue is the only way to be truly sustainable in the long run, especially if I'm going to be making quality content on a regular basis, like twice a week. With the goal of making explainer videos, I think my main influences are other YouTube channels like Wendover Productions, Polymatter, Vox, and Johnny Harris, even if my graphics aren't nearly as amazing as those channels. I'll link to those in the description if you aren't yet familiar with them. On that note, the second thing I wanted to talk about was what goes into making each video. I guess every video starts with a few questions. What will people want to watch? What will they find interesting? Do I have the ability to get all the necessary photos and video to visualize what I'm talking about? And can I adequately communicate all the necessary information? From here, I start a text file and compile all my sources. This will range from Wikipedia to the English version of Lithuanian news. I definitely try and find as many official and authoritative sources as possible. But depending on the topic, I might even reach out to local Lithuanians to see if they know something that I don't. I try not to lean too much on Wikipedia, but it tends to be a good starting point for me to get some general background on a topic. Once I have the information, I turn it into a script. And once the script is the way I like it, then I take out my phone, open up the audio recording app, and read it out. While the other YouTube channel I work for has a professional voiceover guy that I send scripts to, I do all the voiceover work for Lithuania Explained by myself. I hate being in front of the camera, and using my own voice was also quite a challenge at first. I'm still not great at it, but if you listen to the early videos, hopefully you'll hear some improvement, especially with my speed and intonation. After recording, I move it to my computer and start looking for all the necessary photos and video. Depending on the topic, this can be extremely slow and time-consuming, or it can be quick and easy. But after that, I just put it all together. All in all, I would say that an average Lithuania Explained video these days takes about 7 or 8 hours to create, from coming up with the idea, to filming stuff, all the way through to uploading the video and making a thumbnail. So as you can see, it's all quite an intense process. Getting accurate information can be a huge task, and I think one of the biggest hurdles is asking people for help. Something I've encountered frequently is that these people forget or just flake out and bail on me. I would say that of the 20 people I've approached over the past 8 months, only 5 or 6 have followed through and delivered. I don't want to mention people specifically in case they want to remain anonymous, but I hope they know who they are and that I'm extremely grateful for their help. I think this all has instilled in me a sense of resilience and determination to push through and get each project done. It might just end up taking a little longer than I planned. And it hasn't just been me learning and changing as the channel grows. In fact, the channel itself has been changing too. As you may have noticed, earlier videos focus on more practical advice for foreigners living in Lithuania. How to take public transit, an introduction to supermarkets, and how to get started with Bolt scooters. These are just a few examples of my earlier videos. Things changed with my video about Chinese-Lithuanian relations. That video took off quickly, inadvertently aided by an army of pro-China YouTube accounts hired by the Chinese government to post pro-China comments on any video that might be critical of the country. You'll have to look it up for yourself because it shocked me when I experienced it for the first time on my video. One source notes that these guys get paid about 7 cents per comment, and once you know what one of these comments look like, it's pretty easy to recognize all of them.
There's 300,000 of them. Some of them are actually PLA soldiers, like in the army, that don't have enough like army duties to do, so they go to this massive building in Shanghai, right? These guys work in this massive building, and they're getting paid allegedly 50 Chinese cents. What is that? It's like freaking nothing. It's like, I don't know. It's like a real penny.
5毛.
Yeah. 50 Chinese cents to post comments, basically trying to derail certain conversations that make China look bad.
But after this, things really changed with my video about Baltic jokes. I had no idea that it would take off like it did, but it was honestly so great to see Lithuanians, Latvians, and Estonians able to make fun of each other in a mostly friendly and lighthearted way. After seeing the success of these videos, it was pretty clear that people were more drawn to politics, culture, and international relations. It makes a lot of sense though. There are far more people on YouTube interested in these bigger topics than there are people looking for advice on how to get from Vilnius to Kaunas. I do try to post a few practical advice videos here and there, mostly as short videos, but these ultimately do quite poorly. At least those earlier videos will stay on the channel and be helpful for anyone traveling to Lithuania in the future. So, what have I learned from doing this? Well, at first I was quite surprised and delighted by Lithuanians telling me that they were learning stuff about their own country from watching my videos. I'm sure they have access to traditional mainstream Lithuanian media, but maybe this format works better for them. It might also be the fact that I myself am a foreigner and offer a different perspective on stuff that Lithuanians might not even notice about their own country. I also learned that people just really appreciate the effort in general, whether they already know the information or not. That, of course, makes me really happy. I do enjoy living in Lithuania, and because it's such a small and often overlooked country, I also take joy in teaching others about the place that I now call my home. Finally, I've come to appreciate the fact that some of you out there are very loyal and supportive viewers. There are those who support the channel financially as members, but there are also many viewers that take the time to comment and voice their support for my videos.
And I can't deny the fact that you like me right now. You like me. Thank you.
I really appreciate all the people that are engaged in polite and constructive conversations, as well as those who offer gentle corrections and constructive feedback. It's all very much appreciated. So, what will this channel become in the future as we get closer to 10,000 subscribers? Well, I'm hoping to offer more of the same because it seems like that's what you want. I'd like to continue my international relations series and examine Lithuania's relationship with other countries in the region. Lithuania-Belarus relations will appear before or just after this video comes out, and Germany is also on the list. But after that, I'm not quite sure. I also want to cover Ukraine eventually, and to be honest, I'm not sure if covering Russia will offer anything new and unexpected. At this point, I think most Lithuanians are aware of their past and present relationship with Russia, but I'll wait and see. I also want to make a video on the Lithuanian populations in South America, and perhaps examine the structure of Lithuania's government, since it's something I don't know much about at the moment. But with all of that said, I want to thank you all again for supporting me as channel members, channel subscribers, or as just the occasional video viewer and commenter. I'm really excited to see where things go, and I'm really grateful that you're along for the ride too. Thanks for watching this video and all the other videos I've made. I'll see you next time.